Welcome. I am so glad that you're here. Today, we are talking about something that touches almost every pediatric SLP practice, even if we don't always call it by this name, the client experience system. Most people think a practice grows because it has a website, a booking link, a few social posts, and good therapy. But the real growth happens when those pieces work together. Families need to understand you, trust you, reach out, get a fast response, book, and then feel supported after therapy starts. That is the full experience. That is what we're going to map out today. For the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to teach. This is not a long product demo. I want you to leave with a clearer picture of where your practice may be leaking inquiries, time, parent follow through, or trust. Then at the end, I will show you how I can help you build this with the SLP Growth Bundle and Carryover Connect. After that, we'll have a few minutes for Q&A. If you want to type in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, you could always send me an email. I respond personally to every single email I get. Before we dive in, drop in the chat which one best describes you. Are you a solo private practice owner, a group practice owner, a school-based SLP? What about a contractor or mobile therapist? Or if you're thinking about starting a practice or growing one, drop that in the comments too. Also, drop one word for what feels most frustrating right now. Is it website, inquiries, follow-up, parent communication, carryover, or admin work in your business? Keep those answers in mind. As we go through this slide deck, I want you to notice where your biggest gap shows up. That is where your next growth move probably is. Most SLPs do not have just one broken tool. They have a complete system gap. This slide is the heart of the training, really. Families can fall through the cracks in three major places. First, before they inquire, they land on your website or social page, and they're trying to decide very quickly whether you can help their child. If the language is unclear, if the next step is blurred or buried, or if the site just feels outdated, they may leave without ever filling out a form. Second, after they inquire, this is huge. A parent may fill out a form at 10 p.m. after a long day. If they do not get a quick response or clear next step, that moment can disappear. They get busy, they forget, they call someone else. Life just starts lifing, you know? Third is after therapy starts. This is where carryover and parent communication really matter. The family may love the therapist, but if home practice lives in a paper handout, an email, a verbal reminder, or if there's no home practice at all, it can get lost fast, right? A good client experience is not about being fancy, though. It's about reducing friction. Friction is anything that makes it harder for the parent to take the next step. In the chat, or again, if you're watching this replay, where do families most often fall through the cracks in your world? Think about it. Is it before they inquire, after they inquire, after therapy starts, or honestly, all three? As you answer, this is exactly why I build these systems as one connected experience. A website alone is just not enough in these days, right? An app alone is not enough. A CRM alone is not enough. The power is in how they work together. Families start judging the experience before they ever even meet you, if we're being honest. Let us talk about the first impression. For a parent, your website is not just a website. It is often the first moment that they ask, can this person help my child? If the website is confusing, if the services are hard to understand, or if the call to action is just unclear or non existent, the parent does not think this practice needs better conversion copy. They just think, I'm not sure if this is a good fit for me. The friction path on this slide shows what many families experience: confusing website copy, slow follow up, if they even follow up at all, scattered carryover support, if they have carryover support at all. Each of these moments chips away at trust. Trust is not only built in the therapy room, trust is built through clarity. When a parent understands what you do, what happens next, and how they will be supported, they feel safer moving forward. Quick self audit. On a scale of 1 to 5, how clear is your current client path? 1 means I know it is messy. 5 means families know exactly what to do next at every step. If you rated yourself under 4, you are not alone, I promise. Most service providers build piece by piece. They add a form here, add a link there, a Google spreadsheet here, a reminder somewhere else. And then one day, the whole system feels like a junk drawer with a logo. Ask me how I know. Today, we're going to turn that junk drawer into a clear path. Your website has one main job: help the right families trust you enough to take the next step. The first part of the system is attract. This does not mean becoming an influencer or dancing on the internet, unless you want to, of course. It means your website and online presence should make the right families feel clear and confident. There are 4 things that your website must do. First, clarity. Make it obvious who you help right away. If you work with toddlers, school-age children, autistic children, Gestalt language processors, articulation, feeding, literacy, AAC, say it clearly in parent-friendly language. Second, connection. Parents do not always understand clinical language. They understand what they're worried about, right? They want to know, can you help my child communicate better, participate more, feel less frustrated, or get support that actually fits your life, their lives? Third, trust. Trust builders can be testimonials, your background, photos, your process, frequently asked questions, insurance, or private pay clarity, and what the first steps looks like, right? Fourth is direction. Every page should guide families to one clear next step. Book a consultation, fill out the form, request availability. Whatever the step is, it should not require a treasure map. What is the main action that you want families to take when they land on your website? Type it in the chat or write it down. Think about it, right? If you cannot answer that in 1 sentence, your website probably cannot either. That is fixable, but it has to be intentional. This is where the website piece of the SLP growth bundle really matters. The goal is not just a pretty site. The goal is a site built to attract and guide the right families into your world. A website can look nice and still quietly lose inquiries. This slide is a gentle call out. Your website may be creating friction if families cannot quickly understand what you do, who you help, and how to take the next step. Let us walk through common friction points. Vague home page headlines. If the headline could belong to any therapist in any city, it's probably too vague. too much clinical language. Clinical precision is important in your work, for sure, but parents are usually searching from emotion. They need plain language first. No mobile friendly flow. A lot, 92% of parents are finding you on their phone in between everything else. If the mobile experience is clunky, they may simply leave. If there's no easy path for intake, right? If the form is too hard to find or too confusing, that parent may not even finish it. Missing trust builders. Families want to know that you are credible, kind, and organized. If there's no call to action, if every page says something different, families hesitate. Open your own website or your funnel, your landing page, whatever it is that you use to attract people to your practice, right? Open it on your phone if you can. Look at the first screen only and ask yourself, can a parent tell who I help within 5 seconds? Can they tell what to do next? Does it feel warm and trustworthy? This is really not about judging your website. It's about seeing what a busy parent sees when they find it. Because busy parents do not read everything. They scan. They decide really quickly. So now let us say they do the next step, right? They submit the form. This is where the next gap often happens. A submitted form is not a booked family, right? We all know that. It's just a paused moment in a chaotic day. So, part 2 of the website journey experience is convert. This is where so many practices lose momentum. A parent fills out a form that really feels like progress, right? But from the parent side, they may have filled it out while making dinner, after bedtime, during a work break, or while sitting in a car. That inquiry is not a guaranteed client. It is an opening, right? If your system waits too long to respond, the parent may go cold. Not because they're not interested, because their life is simply full. This is why I care so much about follow up. Follow up is not pestering people. Good follow up is service. It says, I got your message. Here's what happens next. You are not lost in my inbox. That's what that says, right? The job of your follow up system is to create certainty. Certainty converts. When a new inquiry comes into your business, how fast does the parent usually get a response from you? Is it immediate? Within a few hours? Within 24 hours? Or whenever you come up for air? No shame is if your answer is when you come up for air. I totally get it, totally understand. That is exactly why systems exist. Revenue Stream OS is the behind the scenes piece that helps with this. It is the system that can help with forms, messages, follow-up reminders, and visibility so that inquiries do not disappear. Manual follow-up looks responsible, right? It does. But it can quietly drain the owner and lose inquiries. It's time consuming. It's mentally taxing. This is the manual chasing trap, right? On the left is the SLP's reality. You're doing the work. You're sending the messages. You're following up. You're trying to remember who asked what question, right? Who filled out which form? Who needs a call? Who disappeared? Who needs an email sent, right? Then on the right is the parent's reality. They may not know the next step. They may miss your email. They may forget to book. They may need a reminder. I love reminders. Also, they might not even be ready yet, but they still need to be nurtured. They need to be followed up with, right? This is where a lot of practice owners blame themselves. They say, I need to be more organized. I need to check my inbox faster. I need to follow up better. Here's the truth. You probably do not need to become a human reminder machine. You need a system that supports the follow-up. A strong follow-up system should include instant confirmation after inquiry, a clear next step message sent to them, appointment booking path, whether that's a conversation, a meeting, whatever it is, a reminder sequence. Nurture for families who are interested but just not ready. You want to be able to follow up with them on a consistent basis. Visibility into where each inquiry stands. So, which part is the most manual for you in your business right now? Booking calls, sending reminders, following up with people who go quiet, keeping track of everyone. This really matters because the parent experience does not stop when they actually become a client. Once therapy starts, a new kind of follow-up begins. That's considered carryover. Carryover breaks down when families do not have one clear place to return to. And part 3 is support. This is where Carryover Connect comes in. Here's what this often happens, right? The SLP explains the activity beautifully in the session. The parent nods, everybody has good intentions. Then the parent leaves and real life begins. Dinner, homework, siblings, the backpack, the car, the paper handout that was definitely somewhere just 5 minutes ago and now it's gone. So when home practice does not happen, it's not always because the parents don't care. Often they need a clearer, easier, more repeatable way to know what to do. A parent-friendly carryover system does 4 things. It's a clear activity, it has simple instructions, real-life examples, and it's easy to access later. If the parent has to search through emails, papers, text messages, memory, the system is just too heavy for most people. What is your most common carryover challenge? Is it that parents forget? Is it handouts get lost? Parents feel overwhelmed. I repeat myself every week. Oh, I just don't have time for carryover. I see them when I see them. Or all of the above. And I need a snack, right? Carryover Connect was created to solve this specific gap. It gives families one clear branded place for home practice, parent guidance, therapy updates, and resources. Not more admin, more clarity. Attract, convert, and support should work together. This is the complete ecosystem. Attract is your website and the parent-friendly online presence, right? It helps the right families understand what you do and take the first step. Convert is your CRM and follow-up system. It helps make sure inquiries do not get lost, delayed, or forgotten. Support is the client experience after therapy starts. That includes carryover, parent guidance, therapy updates, and easy access to resources. When these 3 pieces are disconnected, the owner feels like they are constantly patching holes in their business. But when they work together, the practice feels more polished, more organized, and less dependent on you manually remembering every single thing. Which piece would make the biggest difference in your practice over the next 90 days? Website that attracts, follow-up that converts, carryover support that families can use, or all 3 together? The goal is not to make your practice complicated. The goal is to actually make it smoother for you and for the families that you serve. This is the shift from scattered tools to done-for-you systems. This slide shows the old way versus the better way. The old way is super common. It's a scattered website, manual chasing, random paper handouts, repeated explanations, right? It does not mean that you're doing anything wrong. I've done it. It usually means that you have outgrown the patchwork. That's it. The better way is a website built to attract, automated CRM follow up, a dedicated support app, and done for you systems that help the practice feel organized. Think about this as practice management through the parent's eyes. Can they find you? Can they understand what you do? Can they take the next step easily? Do they get a quick response? Do they feel guided after they inquire? Do they know what to do after sessions start or after sessions end, right? If the answer is no at any point, that is not a personal failure. That is a system opportunity. What would save you the most time right now? Is it a better website flow, automated inquiry follow up, organized parent support, less repeating yourself, a clone? But we're starting with systems, right? I know a clone would help all of us. Actually, I do have a clone, if I'm being honest. It helps me with my content and follow up. So, but this is the part of the class where I want you to show you what I built to help with exactly this. Introduce this, right? I need to introduce this to you. Now that we've talked through the system, I want to show you the implementation path, right? It's an implementation path. That's what I'm going to call it. I like that. All right. So the SLP growth bundle is for pediatric SLPs who do not just want more ideas. They want the pieces built and connected for them. The bundle can include a done-for-you pediatric website built to attract families and guide them, right? Revenue Stream OS for CRM and automated follow-up. Carryover Connect for parent support and home practice. And a complete structure for a better client experience. This is for you if you're thinking, I know my website could be better. I'm so tired of manually chasing inquiries. I want parents to have clearer support. I want my practice to look more polished. I want systems, but I do not want to spend the next 3 months figuring it out all by myself. So there are two paths. Path one is Carryover Connect only. This is for you if your biggest need is just parent support, home practice organization, and a more polished carryover experience. Part two is the full SLP growth bundle. This is for you if you want the website, follow-up, and carryover system working together. I'm not here to push everybody into the biggest thing. I just want you to choose the support that matches the gap that you've identified in your own business today. If carryover is the biggest gap, start with Carryover Connect. If your website and follow-up are also leaking major opportunities for your business, then the growth bundle is the smarter fit. Drop it in the chat, app only, full bundle, or you're not sure. Or if this is recorded, just send me an email, hello@carryoverconnect.com. I see every message myself and I respond personally. So either app only, full bundle, or not sure. So if you're not sure, that is completely fine. That is what the application or conversation is for, right? We can look at where you are and decide what makes sense for your business. We can do that together. So here's the next step. If you want the full client experience system, meaning the website, follow-up, and Carryover Connect all working together, you would want the SLP growth bundle. And that's for individual practice owners, or there's a group option for up to 10 therapists within that practice. If you only need parent support right now, then you would want details on Carryover Connect. The goal is not to add more tech to your life. The goal is to build a cleaner system so that families know what to do, inquiries don't get lost, and your practice feels as polished as the care that you already provide. If today made you realize that your practice has a website gap, a follow-up gap, or a carryover gap, don't sit on that for another 6 months, right? The same leaks will keep costing you time, energy, and opportunities. I'm opening space for SLPs who want this built with support. If that is you, simply take the next step while this is fresh. There'll be a QR code available for you at the end of this session where you can use the link to either book a call, start the app only experience, or secure the full bundle where you'll have a website built for you, CRM available to you for easy follow up, and Carryover Connect app. Okay. Before we move into any questions, type one thing in the chat. What is the first system that you know that you need to tighten? Is it your website, follow up, carryover, or all three? Now, I'm going to answer any questions that you may have. I am going to stop recording so that your questions are your own, right? I'm not going to have the questions in the recording, but I will stay here for as long as you like, answer every single question that you have. And again, if you're watching the recording, you can simply send me an email at hello@carryoverconnect.com. I answer every single question myself. So if someone asks, how do I know which offer is right? I'm going to answer that for everyone. If your website is working and inquiries are handled, but parent carryover is messy, then Carryover Connect is probably the right first step. If your website, follow up, and parent support all need structure, then the growth bundle is the better fit, right? It can work if you're school based, it can work if you're private practice, if you're clinic based. It doesn't matter. If you work with the pediatric population, this was created for you. Okay. So let's get into the thick of the questions. And again, I'll stay here for as long as you like.